tweet is out. Everything else looking good. Okay, so we are back again this week for our weekly house tours, and we are on entity side this week. Last week we visited a few fabulous places on Jevitt, so it is NA's turn this time. Just a quick reminder, there is maintenance today. I think it's supposed to last about 3.5 hours. And so just a heads up on that. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of like the main site, like the shop stuff that's going to go under as well. But just keep that in mind. Also, apparently, UMG, I think it is, has been issuing some copyright claims on a lot of streamer and YouTube videos for those that have been putting out WildStar content. I've only had one claim myself, which seems not so bad compared to some of the others that have been saying they've been flooded with complaints. All I can say is that Pappy, Chad Moore, did tweet that they were looking into it to get it resolved. The last time this happened, we had a slew of claims against our videos, and all we had to do was dispute them, and Carbine contacted or did whatever they had to do, wave their magic wand or whatever, and cleared up the issue, because Carbine themselves have stated that they encourage streamers and YouTubers to use their in-game footage. So, and that includes, you know, the music, the background music and stuff. So if you happen to catch any of my videos that are currently unviewable due to copyright claims, just be aware that hopefully that'll get sorted. But as I said, of the like hundreds that I got out, only one was tagged. So I've already disputed the claim, and hopefully that'll get sorted soon enough. But as I said, Pappy said that they would be looking into it to get that cleared for us, because they don't want to discourage players from streaming the content and everything, because it's basically like free advertisement for them to have people sharing their gaming experience, and then, you know, to have it disrupted by someone trying to claim copyright on it, that can be problematic in that regard. So last time it was pretty quick that they got it sorted, so I'm fingers crossed it'll be the same this time. So just a heads up on that. That goes for my videos or anybody else's that you know. I know there's several that have video footage that have been affected by this, so just keep that in mind. And yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. The deadline for the Community Showdown housing competition has passed. I think that was on the 20th. So hopefully we'll be getting to see some of the results of that eventually. I forget when the actual judging thing goes. I don't know if they're giving themselves like a week or two to go through them all or what. If there's any amount of participants, I can safely say it's going to take them a while to get through all of it and be able to produce some footage if they're going to do some videos or whatever. But I think that will be our goal for our first community tours, though, is to visit those that participate in the competition. I'm hoping they will give a list of not just the winners, but those that actually offered up their communities for judging, so so that we can kind of take a look at all of them. Again, I don't know how that's going to play out. Like I said, depending on the complexity and how much jibber jabber I include, it could take hours upon hours to get through a whole community, because one house, one plot could last up to a couple hours on its own, depending on how verbal I get. So I don't know if we'll do like a part one of whatever kind of deal, or we'll just, you know, tough it out and last for however many hours it takes for me to get through it. I suspect it's probably going to be the latter, but I'm not particularly looking forward to it, because as it is just under a couple hours and my throat's already getting scratchy, and I don't want to make myself sick because of it. But we'll see how it plays out. For now, though, we're sticking with individual plots, and as I said, we are on entity. This is EGO Nanos plot, the Evandra Institute. Just by a quick glance that I took earlier, this is like a college slash medical facility where those that are training to become, I guess, doctors have a place to do their classes and studies, and then on the other side is the actual medical facilities. I don't know if it's like they come in with like test patients or what. I don't think you would want to do it like the haircut institute where you get a really bad haircut, so you come in and get a really bad surgery from a student, but I think it's like a learning facility where they can watch the higher ups, the actual doctors perform whatever bits they got to do. Excuse me. So yeah, we're going to get started on this one and hopefully make it through 2 homes for today. Anyway, good morning, Bones, and anyone else that happens to be lurking around. I know we started a few minutes early, but you know me, I just kind of wing it every day. So, okay, so first and foremost is the entrance. I'm going to see if I can get a good shot of how they've got this kind of cordoned off. You can see there's glass ceiling, and it's done pretty nicely using the the triangle pieces for the corners or whatever. Got some nice overlay, and it works out really nice. Again, it's a matter of just patience and finagling with the pieces to be able to get them to fit nicely around the edges. This one isn't so much of a problem because they didn't try to get right up next to the platform. Others really like to try and either hide or otherwise encase it a little bit more snugly, so that's even trickier. But it is possible to have a nice little enclosure for the entrance to kind of block off things like, you know, this little pump thing that you can see. And I like how they've included a faux door to kind of make it look like there's actually, you could actually go out into the spacey part. You can see through the glass that there's, you know, domes representing the tops of some of the other facilities, like the window here. I didn't find any place that actually gave a good view of the layout of the building or structures itself, but we might happen across one while I'm going through here for a full tour. So, hey, Poi, good morning. Glad you could make it. So as for the faux door and some of the elements around here, that's the charming bar, and I believe it's a couple of the pressure dividers that are acting as the door itself. Over here we have a little pool. I'm not quite sure what's being used for this. I suspect it's the same thing, the bar, but I'm not positive on that. But then it looks like the upside down barnacle weed. I was going to say bramble, but barnacle weed, the one that looks like it's an underwater plant. It's also the one that I talk about using it as chocolates because the bottom of it looks kind of swirly, like nice chocolate candy. It looks like it's being used for the ground cover here for the plants. On this side, you have a nice little fountain. Notice the decorations again. They've got like curved walls being used for the arches here, just to give it a little bit of extra design, and then more of those charming bars layered up. And I think they're using those for a lot of the archways throughout the architecture. You'll see what I'm talking about later. But look how neatly even the sidewalks are done. You can see there's domes or cylinders being used for parts. There's like a giant one underneath here. And then they've overlaid that with floors, and then inset the emblem, and then another type of dome kind of deal. So it's a lot of detail, a lot of pieces. It's amazing that folks can really stretch that 2,500 limit and make it look awesome as far as what all they are able to squeeze into it. If I tried to put this kind of building all together, I'm pretty sure I would not have any left for details like that. So on this side, I gather is the medical side, the where you actually have the patient rooms, surgery rooms, things like that. So we're going to take a look at this side first. Again, you're going to see a lot of those charming bars for a lot of gold accents. It's probably one of the favorite pieces aside from the Hugel portrait. It's prevalently used here. You can see got a little hyperactive lop there, some magnetized containers. Over here is a little bit of a waiting room. Nice use of the Cassian wall as a, kind of a fancy carpeting. And it looks like they've color shifted some of these to be a nice match to that carpet. I don't know what color you would call that. Maroon or something. Over here we have some really nice flooring. I think it's the back of the tablet computer, but I'm not positive on that. It could be just the back of I don't think it's the back of the travel posters because the texture's a little off, a little different. It's nice and shiny, smooth, and they use it in a lot of places. Here it's to give access to, if I remember correctly, it's like, I don't know why they would have it, but it's like on this side is entrance to the little scanner check-in area. And you can see they're using, it looks like some of the ship hand benches for this little structure here. And then on this side, which I love these little hatches, these are the cryopods, the Dominion style. I don't think, or at least the last time I was into it, the exiles don't have access to the Dominion version and vice versa. But the Dominion bit, you can see, it's great for little doors. And I love how, while it doesn't exactly line up, I love how they've used the archways to make these doorway shapes to kind of match this and using them as open doors. Just, I think it's kind of clever. And then here it's like a little security room because there's like these little jail cells here. Like maybe they have some kind of mental patients run loose and they have to lock them up or something. I'm not for sure what the purpose of that is, but that's all I can think of. Is like they have their little weaponry and everything sorted out. Yeah, there's the back side of the cryopod. Now you can see there's a little bit of like sky lighting there, but again, you don't get a full view of the facility from what I could tell. This is another faux door. Again, it appears to be the pressure dividers being used and kind of matching it up with that little part so it looks like the handles or where it would split up. And then this gives us the first look at some of the prefab places. So this is, I believe it's a Chua house. You can kind of see it there. We go inside and you find like some kind of a lab works. They're using the back side of a tablet computer. So see, that might not be what those other pieces are, because then you see this got the bolts here. So like I said, I'm not sure what that is outside. This looks to be, that's like the back side of that cryopod with the handle there, and then some reinforced walls, 2x4s, and then glass. And then you've got a little bit more of the lab works up here. Another cryo thingy. I'm not sure what this contraption up here is, this little zapper thing, but it's like the taco stand, and then they've put a cylinder to cover up where the taco stuff is. And then this looks almost like a laser end or something, and a magnifier or whatever. That's just the exile sign. And then it looks like a Chua tank as well. So I guess a subject would be placed here, and then they would be like tweaked and lasered and whatever. Over here you've got another station. Lots of Dominion pieces. I don't know the names of all of them. I don't know if those are oversized cannons or weapons or whatever. A lot of the medical bits. Again, I don't know the names of those pieces offhand. But it's a really nice little setup. Like, I think that's the scanner piece down here. These here are definitely the travel posters. So up above, there's like a little bar where I guess the practitioners of the lab, they come and have a drink, relax after a successful surgery or experiment. The stairs again are those charming bars. And then you've got the, I think it's the Dominion bed, and they've just inset it enough where you can't see all of the pieces. With the Dominion wardrobe, I believe, on either side. So you can sit up here and kind of watch the zapping going on. This particular one really likes to use these little Tua portraits. I don't know if that's supposed to be like little notices or multiple portrait peoples or what. I don't know what song you guys are talking about. I'm just letting you ramble on. I'm kind of ignoring it because I have no idea. And then off to the side. Now, the one side room, they've actually got blocked off here. They've just put up a Chua heat rod fireplace and blocked it off. But over on this side, they've actually left it open, and it becomes a kind of like a private study. They've got the little library here. These are the tops of Chua tables. The one that looks like it has like a pair of binoculars on it. And they just got two of those sandwiched up, and then the charming bars again, this time being used as shelving, because it's got those handy little cubicle parts. And then the little computer thingy here is a number of pieces. It's not only the charming bar, but it looks like one of the Dominion benches. You've got some Eldon bits, the Exile tactical table, the ergonomics keyboard, and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's see if we can, oops, I think I did something else. So a little, I guess it's like a office study kind of thing. I like the little billboard here, bulletin board, however you want to call it. We've seen many varieties. This is cute enough. The little aquarium here, that's just one of the clunky fire extinguishers with a few plants and such stuck in there. Simple banister here, just some pillars, different sizes. Okay, onward. And again, another faux door. That just leads, I know there's still the debate as far as faux doors and faux buildings. It gives a way for the builder to kind of say, hey, there's more to this than what you have access to. So I appreciate that. Understand the necessity for it. So this is like I don't know if you've seen it, but like in some of the places where they do surgeries, they have like these uh, viewing rooms. You can't really see it very good from here. Let me see if I jump up on the table here. There's actually benches and stuff, and we'll come to this area later. But it's a way for them to perform a surgery, and I would presume students or other physicians would watch and spectate while they do their thing. So again, the cryopod is a really fun little piece, used a lot of different ways. Looks like a dome, one of those two arms, and then the magnetized container. They could have elaborated and put tools and stuff out. It might be that they just ran out of space because there's quite a bit going on up here on the upside. Notice the suitcases for some of the ramps here. Again, I'm not sure what's being used for this piece. But they use it throughout. Um, I don't know what all of this is meant to be representative of. I know this is like a giant cannon thing, and you've got the Dominion generator here. I think this is to incorporate the little fab kit that's here. You've just kind of built around it. Other than that, I don't know the purpose of having this big weapon here. On this other side, they've got cryopods set up. It's a different kind of cryopod, but it's like maybe this is where they come for some kind of stasis, sleep before surgery or after surgery, or it aids in recovery. I have no idea. But you can see there's a lot of pieces here. They've got the giant cryopod. I think it's the bottom of it, and that's what the honeycomb pattern is from. And then they've got the smaller ones, and then the technophage tubes. Go a little further in, and we come across yet another fab kit. Again, uh, keeping the fab kits and being able to build around them and have them make sense and not feel too out of place is, part of the trick of building. But they managed to leave this one in. And even further, it looks like a faux door. It's basically suitcases, hammers for the handles, and a little bit of red trim there. But it's actually, if you get close enough, you'll get the little button. And I believe it's the Protostar house, the winter house. And this is another kind of lab works. You can see here's a little place where I get, maybe it's a weaponry thing, I don't know. This looks like a press, deal where they make the weapons and the forge and everything. A lot of hanging wires and cables. The stairs are just pillars. I'm guessing this is probably a bathroom. Okay, just some kind of a little surgery massage thing. I don't have any idea. So some kind of like they put whoever's doing the zapping inside for protection, and then they zap. This here, I think, it's either Pell or I want to say it's that drum, just because of the animation here, but I'm honestly not for sure. Um, is it Falcon or Pell? I think it's Pell. It's like a weird little green drum kind of thing, and it has that thrumming animation. But then it also looks like part of the TV bit. So I guess it's a combination of things there. I'm not sure what this is. This looks like engine parts, but I'm not for sure. So that's the little protostar house. Again, being able to work these into these pathways and having them match up nicely it takes a lot of planning. That's why it's important to decide what fab kits and such you are going to have on your plot before you start building, because it makes it easier to kind of map things out, I think, than if you were to add it later. Okay, so I think that's that part. Let's see. Yeah, over here we have a little dining area. The benches are just staircase landings as the backs, doing double time here with 2 pillows and then the picnic tables. The little dining part itself, they even use a door for the little part where you can go in and out. It's just oversized 2x4s for the countertops. Simple, but got a nice few little things to indicate that it's where you come and order. Using that Exile bulletin board as kind of a menu style thing. Don't want to forget, let's see, we went there, up on this side, past the waiting room, is the reception. I guess this is where you sign in as the patient. And then over here on this side is the actual individual, I guess, examination rooms. This floor here, that's the back side of the portraits, the ones with the gold frames, like the Illuminari, I think, or the lords and ladies thing. Excuse me. You can see most of it is pillars, color shifted walls, a little bit of glass. Each room is basically the same, I think. You got several examination rooms on this side. I love this door here. This is nice. You know, while it's not a functional door, it has the impression that it could be. So they're using the suitcases as the handles, and then just some glass with the archways making the doorway. And this is where the shuttles come come in. So that presumably they can pass through the little barrier here and bring in the patients. And this is where they get like a little check-in. They even have a floating, hovering cot to transport patients to the examination rooms. Just a quick note, this is that piece whenever we talk about ponds and water features that has that little glowy effect. Typically it's something like this little glowy blue effect that's coming off of the bottom of the hovering cot. A lot of people like to use that to give the illusion that the water is moving, even though the piece is like, if they're using layered glass or something, that doesn't have any movement to it. They give the illusion of that movement by using something like this. There's also, now we have the portable holograph. It's the really long one. All of the little lights on it have that glowy effect as well. If you don't have access to other types of animated bits. The buoyant blue crystal is also a favorite. I don't know if they actually took the time to put anything inside other than the cots, just extra cots. On this side, we have the elevators. Again, it's the Dominion benches being used for the framing. And then it looks like travel posters for the doors. So we have one that's closed. Here you have a detonator for the little button. And then this one is open. Got another button here. And then if we go up the ramp here, you'll see the same setup for the elevators. So let's go this way. If you go down the tunnel on this side, this brings you to that viewing area for the surgery room that we were in earlier. Again, you get a little glimpse of the outside, but I haven't found any place where you can actually see the building itself that you're supposedly running around in. Stairs are just, it looks like there was actually a stair ramp being used and they just overlaid it with suitcases. Here's a little bit of an upper view of the place where the little emergency vehicles come in. And then all around on this side is the actual examination rooms, I think. I don't know if it's meant for recovery or what, but I like how they're using the staircases here as blinds for a little bit of privacy. That could be used in a bedroom. And they use different pictures to kind of change it up just a little bit. Notice this one's closed. Some of them are open. This is the entrance, so you can see from this upper floor area a little bit better of how they boxed in the entrance. Here we actually have a patient with, I hope those aren't the doctors, but you never know. And here, I presume this is like where you get an MRI or something. Again, this is just the back side of one of those portraits. And they've inset some blue light lounge tables inside the cryopod piece here to give it a little bit of extra glowy stuffs. Look at all those clampers there. the little hookies. This here, that's travel posters inset on top of each other. That could be like where you put the tools and such. And then this is the back side of that portrait with the lady that she kind of looks bald with like some feathers or something. Hey Siskwy, glad you could join. Again, notice the glass. Maybe the door slides down when it's not in use. There's another little waiting room reception area. This, I think, is one of the Dominion fence posts. Kind of has like a little round bit, and some people use that for a doorway. Again, some more of those examination rooms. Again, one's closed, one's open, kind of deal. Back down, and we're ready to go to the students' side of things of this institute. So we'll go past the eatery. Notice they added the little jug here to the sign to make it like beer place. I like these too, the way they used this just to break up the wall to make it look like it's little pictures or something. On the right half is the library, the little book sign here. You've got these little cubicles for students to do group studies. These are some of those stained glass windows. Kind of, they don't give off light, but they kind of make it look lit up a little bit. Same way here. And this is a portrait with a travel poster inset, I think, to make the roof of this little building here. Then you got little individual groupings. I presume this is where you could look up some things on the interwebs or whatever. And then I think these are meant to be like the cases where the books are located. I'm not sure, but that seems to be how it is. Here's the main librarian desk. Again, I believe this is part of that Dominion fence post. And then the base here is the back side of that portrait, again, that has the lady on it, and then topped with charming bar. Again, they really like using this little portrait thing. I think is kind of cute. Okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. I think there was a room up here. Okay, again, they built in their fab kits, so here's a little garden greenhouse section, presumably where they would grow their herbs and such that they use for their medicines. And in this one, they have, I believe it's the dorms. Yeah. This is where the students rest. So they've got like these little cots. They're usually just the medical cots, but then they box them in with the 2x4s, which kind of makes it look a little neater and different. So it's kind of the same setup for each one, but they changed the uh, details just a little bit, different posters, different books, different cushions and such. And don't forget the little dorm bulletin board. They've used a lot of things from signs to actual weaponry, posters, pictures, and of course the calendar and notes. Then if we go just past the library to the staircase here, I believe these are the classrooms. So I don't know if this one is supposed to be like the teacher's lounge. It looks like the Knights of the Round Table. It's basically just a bunch of the conference tables meshed together to make this nice round. It has a nice little design that works out with the gold trim on each end. So it looks pretty nifty. And each one of these rooms has a little skylight. So again, you can see kind of outside, but not really. Kind of just, if you get your camera just right, you might be able to pop up and see a little bit. You can see the other rooms on the other side. But again, I didn't find any way of actually seeing the layout of the building itself. Again, you get a nice view of the library and the big windows here that they're using. Even the pillars, the columns made out of like 3 or 4 pillars together. Presumably another workshop or classroom where they construct weaponry. Why they would have that at a medical facility, I don't know, unless they're considering some of these to be of medical use. I don't have any idea, but there you go. These bits here, if you're wondering what those are, it looks like the sides of the bookcases. And then another classroom. This is more of a classic classroom. You've got the desks for your students. And this is presumably the magic side of things. That's those buoyant blue crystals. A lot of people like to use it for just under the water to give a look, especially for a waterfall. Before we had the access to the actual waterfalls with the nice animation, with the poofs of steam and stuff. We had to kind of make do with what we had, and these were good for that. You just had to enlarge it quite a bit, sink it down so you don't see the crystal itself, and you're left with that nice misty effect. It's also a fave for like haunted woods, for like Shades Eve time or themes. And I think that's it for that. A good shot of the library room there. But yeah, I think that's all the bits on this particular plot. It's a really nice build. There's a lot of lovely details that don't have to be restricted to this particular theme as a kind of a college slash medical thing, like the waterfalls and a lot of the like chairs and benches and stuff that we saw. Even how they did some of the doorways. That could be used in any number of themes and uh, buildings and such. So a good place to come for some ideas. So that was EGO Nano's Evandra Institute. So the next one we're going to visit is, you'll probably be familiar with the name, Chef Noriak. They, in the past, did quite a few demo videos for Katya's um, builder toolkit. very helpful for those that were struggling with trying to understand how to do some of the newer functions. I don't remember how many videos there were in total, but there's quite a few. I think I still have it listed on the resources section on the Twitch channel page. And again, it still takes a while for the plots to load. Again, I don't know if that has anything to do with the communities being introduced, but it seems to take a long time. Or a lot longer than I remember anyway. Okay, so this one is, like I said, this is Chef Noriak's plot. It's called Lava Run Shiny Hill Cafe. So we can already kind of presume we're going to have an eatery of some sort. I don't know what they're using for the ground cover, but they have it extend out into the horizon, and then they've just boxed in the entrance here with the stepping stones that you get from, gosh, where is it? Starcom Basin, I think, or Starcom. I don't know what ground cover they're using. It doesn't look familiar to me, so it's probably one of the newer ones. But you can see it's a really lovely, almost like an autumn coloring. Um, they've got a variety of trees. I don't think it's limited to any specific uh, type. I see pine trees and the weeping willows and ones that you would see in like Galeris and stuff. Yeah, I suspect. I just don't know for sure. Now this part here where they've got it, this little slope, you can see the white puffs coming when I run across there. So this tells me that's the upside down snowy hill. Now we're going to take a closer look at this. This isn't trying to point out the builder's errors or anything. This is just to kind of clarify why so many of us try to hide the edges with stones and such, greenery, whatever we can do. Because as you can see, the edges of those snowy hills are like razor thin, and it's super, super difficult to have them match up perfectly. So you can see they've used a number of them here, layered on top of each other to try and get that kind of a smooth, like a little bit of a hill. And the only way you can really hide that, again, is by using the stones, and they've just opted not to cover it completely, hoping that, you know, someone like me won't come in and show it up close. But I just want to point out that generally we kind of do cover it up with either like overgrowth, or you could even put grass patches or clumps, something to kind of, but the trouble with that is if you just follow the line, then it's like just the wall of something, and then it looks kind of odd. And I understand why they've left it like they have, but that's why. It's because there's no neat and comfortable way of meshing those edges up, because it's just like paper thin, and there's just no way to do it properly. But they've done a good job of hiding as much of it as they can. It looks nicely blended in, you know, if you're not Snoopy like me and getting up close to it. But this gives you a good view of just how far their ground extends out. Now, this is probably one of those instances where this particular plot might be troublesome in trying to join a community. If they've got something that expands this far, it might interfere with the other plots. So, yeah, something to consider. Again, I don't know if you can see it really well, and it might just be my graphic settings, but every now and then you'll see these like, little white like lines. That's the seams of the hills showing. It's something I notice. I try to avoid having it show, but something about my settings, I think, allows it. It's the same way with some of the shadows created on some of the walls. It looks like Venetian blinds almost, the way the shadows are put out. And here at the overlook, we have a little gazebo type of structure. It's bowls, not only for the steps and the base, but also the cap here. And just filled with some pillows, pillars for the supports. You have a nice little overlook of the property itself. You can see that's kind of like a little raised hill area and then kind of lower in the valley on this side. Okay, let's make our way back to the front. Yeah, I'm not really positive. I could probably look it up, but I'm lazy. Hey Faye, good morning. Okay, so we're starting back from the entrance again. And gosh, I don't know which way I want to go. Let's go this way, I guess. To the first little house on the corner. I love the way that they're using these stepping stones. It's probably one of my favorite, although it's more like man-made, so it's nice that they use it in this way, just as it's like it's a little cobbled up wall to hold up the grass and the dirt for this tree here. The flowers again are from the spring decor fab kit. Um, you get those, you get the white picket fences, some vines and such, some potted plants as well, I think. I love this little house though. Most of this is decking pieces here with some pillars for like the stilted parts. Layered glass here and then triangle pieces for the roofing. Look how that's been put together. Looks seamless. I mean, you see the seams, but they match so nicely and smoothly. It's a really nice job. Yes, some of the pieces are different sizes, so you get different size of wood pieces, but primarily it's all the same. It looks nice. Archways for this part for the windows. And it looks like a lot of this has been color shifted as well, just to note. I get stuck in the door here. This is the exotic couch. Again, it has no collision whatsoever. It doesn't function as an actual seat. If you want to fix it so that it is sittable, I've seen some builders actually inset other benches into it, or just they place pillows along the seat so that you could at least have something solid to sit on. It's just unfortunate that it looks that it doesn't function like it's supposed to, but it's pretty, but just one of those things. So just a couple of ideas of how to kind of fix it for now. Again, using a lot of the exotic decor here for a little bedroom. Again, fun way of displaying either your plushies or hard to get collectibles or things that you only have like one of and you have no other place to put it. This is the place to show it off. Some really big flowers. Look at that. It's like over my head there. Okay, here's a fun little Chua themed house. You got the Chua desk or table for the base. It's the one that has like the binoculars on the side. A lot of Chua pillars. There's lots of different kinds of glass. Uh, hover part pieces for most of the roof. And the little balcony here. Cute little sitting area. I like how it's kind of stair-stepped here just a little bit. little lounge for the TV watchers. Again, look at the complicated roofing here to get you the little skylight here. Use of the triangle pieces really helps. And then out onto the little patio part. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question either. Generally speaking, I think most builders just kind of, well, I've seen it, some approach it where they'll start at the entrance, because I think a lot of them trouble themselves with how to hide it or disguise it or blend it in a little better. And then they work from the entrance out. Others will start with the main house, whatever the focus of the plot is, and build up from there. Others just build fluidly. They'll think of a piece that they want to add in, and then they'll find something else, and then they'll find a way to kind of join them together. That's why sometimes you'll come across a plot that the pieces don't maybe necessarily go well together, if that makes sense. And it's because they've just kind of let it evolve on its own. Others come in. I mean, I know there's some builders that actually sketch out their plot ideas. They plan it meticulously, down to the paths that they want their visitors to take, what pieces will connect. Some actually have, just it's like a direct route. There's only one way to go. Others will leave it like this one. It's open. I could go left, right, up, down, however I decide to approach it. There's no right or wrong way to go through it. But yeah, it's I think it just depends on what you're aiming for. Uh, if you have a particular theme in mind, a lot of them will just kind of, they start from the landscaping, and then work inward to the main structure, whatever it is, if it's a public building or a personal residence. Some prefer to work on that first so that they can dedicate most of the decor count and the details to that, and then worry about the landscaping later. I think there's pros and cons to both ways, because sometimes if you build, say you've got this house built, and then you want to put some trees and hills in, maybe they kind of overlap, or you don't want them to. So it might be smarter to build in the landscaping first and then put the house in, so you know where you have room to do so. For me, I think the best thing, definitely for sure, if you know you're going to be using like any kind of certain fab kits, like if you're adamant about keeping a lot of your resource ones, like your mining, the garden, uh, what's some of the other ones, things like that, uh, make sure you have those installed from the get-go. Don't wait. There is ways to get around it if you decide to install it later, or you want to change it out later, but it's complicated. It's workable, but I wouldn't advise it. I would say if you know you're going to have a garden, if you know you're going to have a low grav pad fab kit, or you want a boxing ring or whatever, put those in first and foremost, and then build around it, because you might regret it later. Okay, so there is a main path here, and it leads to the main structure here, which is actually uh, it's the Osun house, the one with the 4 chains coming down, and they've covered up most of it using some oversized trees. But we're going to save that for last. And we're just going to follow the path. You can see some of the path is regular gray stones, and some are the swirly stones. Some use no path at all. Some keep them flush with the ground so that they're not uplifted like this. Others use, we've seen some where it's like they're in like a boggy swamp. They've used Rickettio 2x4s and things like that to make it look a little bit more rugged. Now look at the landscaping here. Let me just hop off of this. You can see this is one of the Protostar Insta Hills here. Got a nice smooth curve to it. And then we have another gazebo here. This one's a little bit different. It's walls. You can see the end of the wall here, and it's the granite walls, and they're all layered in, covered with one of the tree tables. It's just inset, so you just see it kind of makes it look like a rug. It's really pretty. A lot of people like to use it for that. For the columns, it's just pillars offset a little bit of each other to make it look like a nice column. And then the roof is a dome. Really pretty. Go back down, hop back onto the path. All right, see you later, Siskwe. Have a good day. As far as is the game dead, definitely not. I think it's just, it could be the time that you play. I know for the times that I usually play, which is early in the mornings, it tends to be fewer people. But that's just because a lot of people work, a lot of people go to school, and so my hours are just not perfect for that kind of thing. But yeah, it's plenty active. Those that say otherwise just haven't really given the game a true try. So here's kind of like a little like a wedding venue where you come and exchange your vows or whatever. They've got the little seating for the guests. It's just staircase landings, hover part pieces, and then topped with pillows for the cushions. Down through here, you can see they've kind of made a little walkway of flowers. They've got grasses. These are from the spring decor pack, I think. Now, if you don't have access to that, if you don't want to purchase it from the cash shop, there are plenty other flowers you could use. And with the color shifting system installed now, you could turn those yellow flowers that are plain and everything to other colors if you want a little more variety and can't afford the ones from the cash shop. So that's not a big issue. These, in fact, I think you craft these and they've color shifted them to a purple blue. I think they're typically white. The little archway here, again, I think that's from the spring decor pack, but there is a craftable one you can use in its stead if you can't get a hold of that one. And then, of course, the little place where the bride and groom are, that's just orange tables or desks. I think it's a table layered up for a little bit of extra fun. Over here, we have a little stream leading into the little river bit down here. These are just using the older waterfalls. Now, one thing I have noticed is a lot of people have been taking advantage of the color shifting for those as well. We've seen some use the blue shadings to give it more of a water look, because the older waterfalls, they tend to be kind of a gray, and I've seen them use the blues and even the oranges and stuff to just give it a little different color. But really nicely done with following it. And yes, you can see the seams where each one starts, but if you can get past that, it's good. Just make sure you have it angled the right way so the water is actually running the right direction. I've seen a few have it backwards and it kind of throws things off a little bit. Over here we have a little greenhouse. Now, obviously they could have just used a fab kit, but you can't raise your fab kits up in elevation. So this is one way of doing it. up on the hill here. They're using the gray stones as the base, topped it with some draken floors, used a lot of picnic tables, and then just put out some of the plants. Now, some of these, like this one here, and this one, and some of these here, all of those in those nice little brown pots, those are from the spring decor pack. If you don't have, again, opportunity or access or desire to use those, you can use other things. You could take this potted plant and just add some flowers into it of your own. You can see that there's the yellow flower potted plant. It looks like they've changed it to an orange almost. Um, but you can use the Draken cauldron. There's the cups, lots of the glasses, even some of the bowls and stuff work really nice as little pots for plants if you want to just make your own arrangements. Yes, it'll be using more pieces, but if you have it available, that's one way to go about it. The structure itself is mostly 2x4s and glass. Little bit of golden arrow for decoration there. We've seen all kinds of shapes for the greenhouses. Some actually do a curved roof. Others will do a little bit broader, more like a barn style. Um, really anything goes, just depends on how you want to put it together. A little each thing going there. Okay, so we've been to that hill and this hill. Let's go this way. Here's a fun little thing, the tiered garden using the brick piles. We've seen the brick piles being used quite a bit lately. It's been used in the past as well, but I've been seeing more and more builders use it for texture purposes, for pathways, buildings. It's been really fun, and this is another use for it, to make up these walls for this tiered little garden kind of deal. You've got the carrots planted, different kinds of melons and gourds and such. On this level, you've got the little wheat stacks. If you're looking for a scarecrow type of thing, if you don't want to use the statue, there's, of course, the Target dummies. They make good scarecrows. Down here, we have the little Lop Village. Again, a lot of this will come from the Lop Decor Pack, which includes like the Kurg creature, there's like some different crates and such, and of course the tents. I think it's 1 tent per kit, if I'm not mistaken. It also comes with the string lights. Over here we have a little playground, which is always cute. People that do like a city type of build and want a little playground for their community, or maybe it's a personal home that they want a playground for their kids. This is just either a dome or cylinder being used for the little circular wall. And then they've got, it's mostly metal edged or plain 2x4s for most of the structure of this thing. You've got a little swing. It's just chains with the 2x4 stuck there. You've got like, it's kind of like a swing, but it's like a teeter-totter thing too. It's, I don't know how to describe it. It's, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's like a double seater. So you swing and it just kind of goes back and forth. Like the Viking ride at like an amusement park or something. And then you have the little box seat for the younger kids that you can buckle them in and let them swing that way. Down below is a little cushion area for kids to lounge around. They got the slide. This here is supposed to look like dirt where the kids have been sliding down so much they've kind of worn off the grass. Um, it's that upside down barnacle weed, the thing that looks like chocolate to me. But this is a staircase landing and then 2x4s, and then this part here is layered with Chua pillows. But look at the structure of it. It's adorbs. We've seen a few of these before, and they're all, it's amazing how everybody can have the same idea but build it differently to make it unique and their own. The little roofing here is travel posters. But that could go in so many different settings. Got a little hidey hole here for someone to take a nap. Some color shifting fun for the mushrooms. A little mini house for little Lop. The carpeting or whatever, that's just the tribal mats. You can get those both the flat version and the rolled version from the Far Trader Fab Kit. It does say it's limited, so you can like only buy like one when you visit. Then if you wait like an hour or two and come back, they'll be replenished. So it's not like you can only get one ever. It's one of those limited things. Just it kind of forces you to visit over and over. The little hut itself, though, is hover park pieces for the trim here, and then a dome, and then a hollow cylinder for the walls. Same thing being used here for the barn. Here's the rolled version of the mats. A lot of people have been liking to use those for curtains. I've used them for food items like eclairs and stuff. I've seen folks use them for cushions or like the side arms of a couch and kind of thing, or even textures for wallpapering and such. Yep, Bones is used them for cigarettes. They just got a multitude of uses. And what's even more fun is if this is the lighter side, if you roll it on the other, it's darker, so it even adds a little extra. I've used them for pillows, for beds and things as well. Over here we have a little buggy that they put together. It looks like it's reinforced walls mostly for the body of it. This piece here, that's one of the wind chimes. And this is one of the chests that comes from the Lop decor pack. Comes with the Kurg and everything. Looks like a weird little wagon, like a gypsy wagon almost, in the back. You can see the structure that they used for the little hill and the outcropping. Notice how they got like little bits of exonite popping out here and there. Now, someone could have decided, well, I want to make a hollow and add an extra little bit here, but I think they didn't do that because of the way that they use the snowy hills, because it's probably like big lumps of snow there. We just go back up a little bit, get a better picture of that. Yeah, you can see there. Now it looks like they got some overhang here, so they might not have made a hollow there. So let me help up. If I can. If I can. I'm like the worst at jumping. It's sad. If I can get up there. I don't see a doorway per se. I'm looking to see if there's a secret entrance I'm missing. I'm probably going to get into it the wrong way and discover that there's an actual easy way to get to it. Let's see. I see the interior. I went inside to see. So it is hollow like I thought. But how do you get in? I don't see any like special door or anything. There's not no back entrance here. No. Well, we'll come back to that, I guess. Here's another fab kit that they've built around. Again, they keep throwing in the little stepping stones that kind of tie everything in. These particular fences and archways, again, are from the Spring Decor Pack. If you don't want those or can't get a hold of them, there are the craftable white picket fences and stuff. The only thing is these are cleaner, straighter, they're more uniform looking, so it looks nicer. The ones that you craft, they're kind of rickety and slanted a little bit, and the ends don't perfectly align and things like that. So it's like a poor man's version. And then here we have the garden fab kit. It's going to bother me. I know there's a way that we're supposed to get in, and I don't know how to get in. Like, is there a magic button? Where's the button? The reason I'm moving my mouse along is because there is a door that is made of stone. So I keep checking to see if maybe they used that and just kind of disguised it really well, but I don't see anything lighting up, so I can't figure out. And because they have this overgrowth here, it kind of gives me the impression that I'm supposed to get in through this way, and I have no idea how to get up there. Oh wait, probably get stuck in here now. There we go. So you can see the snowy hills that they used for making the hill itself. And so inside here is just a bunch of exonite. They could have, made this like a secret clubhouse or a base for some military operation, but they decided to make an exonite cave. There you go. We made it inside. I'm happy now. Notice the roof of this. That's a hay pile. It's a real favorite for those that aim for like village style builds, like a little native kind of thing. If I remember right, there's nothing in here. There could be though. Got to check those little nooks and crannies. Mostly, I think they're just covering up the building of the Osun house, because you can see the chains here coming out from the tree that they are using to cover up most of it. Excuse me. This is the, I think it's the party or festival fab kit. I'm trying to see, I see that they got these little buildings here, but I'm looking to see how I get up to those. Got to mention the bottom of this waterfall thing that they had going. There is a little pool here using winding rivers for that part of it. And again, lots of those stepping stones that you get from Starcom Basin. And just think, we still have the interior to look at, so let's see. I can't see how to get up there. Maybe the other side. No, that doesn't look. I think we'll come back to that. As you can see, there's like some buildings up there, but I don't see any clear way of making my way over, unless there's like a hidden low grav pad that I just haven't noticed. So we're going to go ahead and go on into the interior, and we'll come back out later, and if I've got time, we'll try and get up to that, but don't have any ideas at the moment. So into the Osun house we go. Now, for those of you that recall the Osun house, it was probably one of the biggest homes interiors to come out. I think the next biggest might be the aviary house as far as square footage goes. But I believe this is the actual cafe, the namesake of this particular plot. So we're just going to start off along one side, and I'll try and hit every area that we can. So right off the bat, we have a little jukebox looking thing. I love how they've managed to make it look like a record with a label on it. It's mostly made up of Dominion benches, travel posters. You've got the tablet computer up here in the front. This part here is a tire, and then this part here is one of those, it's like the brown dresser, and then they've got a curved glass over top of that. Now, we've seen others get super elaborate and include like the needle that actually touches the record. I've used plates, and there's been others that's used other materials to make it look like lots of either discs or records or whatever. Some have gone through and used like neon signs to really light it up. We've seen some use a lot of the sulfrost piping and such to really jazz theirs up. There's many ways to approach it, kind of like any other item. But this one's kind of fun, especially I like the way they managed to get it to look like it's got a label on it, insetting that poster inside the tire there. I got hiccups for some reason. Excuse me. Okay, so along this side we have a nice, lovely view into what I presume to be the kitchen. Look at the way this is used, though. It's kind of like a little interior greenhouse being used as part of the walling. It's just either triangle pieces or floors angled just so. to make this little window, and then they replicated it to give it the thickness of a wall and set the flowers in there. And then for the little like lighting, it's that portable holograph bit, the long one. There's the round one, and then there's the really long one. And this is the one that I said could be used in the place of the hovering cot if you want to give your water some kind of animation to it. The bench itself is just a pillar, I think, being used for the ends, and then laid with Tua pillows. Here we have the countertop for the cafe. Again, using the doors as the little, some just leave a door there and you just hop over it. Others leave it open. It's fun to use the doors to make it look half like that. It's just sunk down. The countertop itself is hover part pieces. Here you have the little Java machine. The way they did the sign here for the little cup, that's the detonators. It has a little blinky button at the top. And generally speaking, now we saw this kind of go a little borky the last time we visited a plot, but generally speaking, when you're placing them, the lights will blink out of, they won't be in unison. But once you leave and come back, they'll be blinking together. General rule of thumb, that's how it works. So try not to let it bother you if it's not blinking in time with each other. But it's not something that you can like say, well, if I place one now and then wait a minute and then place another one, then it'll be like a minute interval blinking all the time. It won't work like that. The rest of it has got the blue edges of the beer sign, the one with the star, a little bit of soul frost stuff, the red moon vents. Down here, these little spouts are from the copper Chua sipper cup or Chua copper sipper cup. I don't know. It's one of those combinations there. For like the, I guess these are salt and pepper shakers. It's just cylinders with the red moon vent on top. And then you have a blender that's just a glass with a Chua cup at the bottom and a couple of plates and bowls. It's like a plate here and a bowl here. Here we've got, I'm not sure what this is. There's like cheese, bananas, and meat. I don't know if that's like a food replicator or a blender of some kind where that sounds like a really gross combination of foods. But it's, I think it's some of the Macari bits. I don't know if it's like a chair or stool or something that they've got sandwiched together, or one of the pillars or something. And then here is like, it's either supposed to be a stove or like a microwave. It's like the Dominion scanner. You've got the Tua fireplace topped with the tablet computer, and then a metal table for the base. Here you have the stoves, and well, here are the ovens here. So I guess that's like a microwave. These are the plate bottoms. It's the same thing that's being used for the top here, I believe. And it's being used for the bits here. These are books. You got Chua pillars, travel posters, walls, graded shelves. Over here, pillars for the little stair step up here, and then either campfires or the Falcon fire pit. You've got the spitted pigling over here, and then the different meats being grilled up. These are those weapon crates. They're big faves for refrigerators and things like that. Now, in one of the recent ones, we actually saw them being used as little cubicles for cots and like desks and rooms and stuff, for like a little spaceship type of setting. But this is a fave, being used as like a refrigerator. See if there's anything else. The cutting boards here, those are the back sides of the sad face picture, I believe, or sad face portrait, or whatever it's called. Like a little, this little drink dispenser, I guess is what it is. It's just the Chua bookshelf and then some vent tanks attached to it. The teapot here, which is pretty cute and clever. It is a Draken cauldron with a plate. The handle is from the vintage beer mug, I believe. And then the spout, I think, is one of the tentacles, the red moon tentacles, I believe, being used for the spout, which is kind of clever. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I have no idea. Some kind of weird puppy thing. Goblet, maybe? Oh my, we're getting, let's stick to this area first. We have a little bit of a waiting room, game room, library kind of thing. These are pretty straightforward. It's just the arcade machines that you can get. The aquarium, again, is the clunky fire extinguisher. They've just kind of dressed it up a little bit with the feeding trough, the hookah portrait, and some candles. Again, little fishies and plants and things. Again, if they move a little bit, that helps the illusion that there's water making it move. Got a little bit of a nautical theme going on. This over here is another little waiting area, just Chua cushions. No wood pieces at all for this one, but you know what it is. Nice little display case here. It's just unframed glass this time. A lot of us like to use the framed, but you can go with unframed. And then using the open book as like the little label that tells you what's inside it. And then we have the bathroom stalls. These little hand dryers, I think, is what they're supposed to represent. Those the back of the toilet, the Flusher 5000 or whatever it's called, Flush-O-Matic. It's the back of it, and they're just using it as the hand dryers. Notice they've got different sizes to accommodate the different race heights. I guess this is, I don't know what that is, just a waterfall kind of thing, or if that's supposed to be a urinal. I'm not sure, because that's like a toilet bowl there. It's from the same piece as this, but it's just the toilet being shown. The doors are travel posters. Most of the cabinets are. The toilets here, these are cute. You've got the orange bottle, a bowl. This here for the lid is the med kit, and then you got a giant toilet paper roll with a hammer for the flusher. Yeah, I'm guessing maybe that's a urinal thing. I don't know. Something along those lines. Okay, on to this. We're going to stay on the bottom level here. I say bottom, there's probably a lower anyway, but here is a lovely dining table. Seats many, many people. I can't imagine trying to put out table settings for all of them and making it look like it fits nicely, but I think the main thing to look at here is the table itself. The base or the legs of the table are the orange shelves. They're laid flat against the floor, so you see the filigree bits on the ends acting as the braces of the table. So it's like two shelves per section, and then the rest is just layered glass. Again, the more you layer it, the wider it becomes, so it looks more frosted in the center as opposed to the outer edges where it's not as many layers. The tea set, of course, comes from a decor fab kit, or not fab kit, but decor pack that you can get from the shop. The little centerpiece here is hollow domes just layered up to give that thickness. Looks like more of those barnacle weeds being used for some of the ground and dirt. And then a lot of the spring decor for the vines and the flowers and such. Come over here, entrance to the stage. These are just domes being used for that. This part here, that's another one of those orange shelves. It's just the back side of it. Get in close here. I think this is the flower piano. Kind of hard to see. You have to get really close to get the name to show up properly, but there's her signature. So this is the flower original piano, one of the prettier ones. It's just a lot of 2x4s, books for all the keys, some ornate pillars for the brackets here, and then this legs of the bench, 2 pillows, got the microphone, the cuckoo clock for the little, what do you call that, metronome thing or something along those lines. The little wall print back here, that's just one of the exotic decor tables, I think. And then they're using the exotic dividers as a table here. It's just on top of the base of the leather couches, I think. All right, Bones, have fun. Again, the tables, the individual tables resemble the large dining one. It's just cut off smaller. Basically, it's either they made one and go, I wonder if I could just join it up and make a long one, or had the long one and go, I wonder if I could just shorten it and make it little individuals there. This little biodome thing, again, if you have a type of decor theme going for a plot, but you have a lot of ones that don't necessarily match. So like upstairs and most of the interiors, kind of springy. There's a lot of flowers and green grasses and green trees and things. But you have some Arctera items that you've collected. You don't want them to go to waste. This is one way to do it. It's kind of like the same with a terrarium or um, uh, an aquarium or a storage shelf or a display shelf for your plushies and stuff. If you don't have a particular place to put it, this is one way to kind of sneak it in. And so we have a lot of this Arctera decor has just been thrown in to make this very adorable little terrarium kind of scene. So there's a lot of winter bits. I don't know what's being used for this animation with the smoke and stuff, but it's really nice looking. A lot of icicles and Arctera formations and probably a snowy hill here and there, some snow clumps. But while it seems kind of in contrast to everything else, it's a great way of including it without letting it sit there and collect dust in your crate. Over here again, some little descriptions of the plants, like little desert bits. You can see they're using the sandbags as the sand. And then another little cubicle made out of Harbor Park items. This here, again, I think is the top, or I mean the bottom or back side of that sad portrait thing with probably a pillar for the base. 2x4s, 2 pillows. This would be great for like a diner setting. You know, you have a bunch of these little booths. Okay, let's go upstairs. There's another one over there. Again, you know, if you have a lot of variety of plants and things and you haven't figured out where to put them, these little displays like this work really good. The base appears to be the back side of one of the orange windows. Same way with this here. I think it's the orange one here and probably the pink one here. Well, no, the pink has got green, so I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe it's the colorful. Um, the trellis in the back, some orange walls for that bubbly look, and then just a variety of plants. Lovely little table here. I know it's kind of dark, kind of hard to see, but it's the base of it is a feeding trough, and then it's just triangle pieces nicely lined up to make that nice shape. I'll go on this other side. You see a little bit of a waterfall effect here, going straight into the bowl. Mirrors the same thing on the other corner. Got another display of plants, different varieties. Maybe a VIP area up above. And then you can't miss, see if I can get a good shot. It's really hard to capture it nicely without the vines being showing. But look at the ceiling. You can see they're using the rainbow effect and probably some fireworks shooting off. You can kind of see them zoom in from the side. I don't know which ones in particular, but and then just lots of layered glass here to make that design. I'll go have another look from the bottom, but it's a really pretty effect. See if I can get a good. There you go. Sparkles galore. The ceiling fans, I can't remember where those come from. I don't know if those are from a Red Moon decor pack or what. Okay, let's see. We've got a upstairs from here, I think. These are just pillars for the stairs. Um, leaf windows for this little decoration, and then of course the uh, Exonite walls. This is where that Red Moon decor pack comes in. You see the bar, the stools, the rotating drinks. Here's a dance floor, which has been cleverly made. It looks like layered glass. The what's it called? The datascape window, and then more layers of floors. Very funky design. Again, tree table here. Back here you have some more tables, a little different design. These have glass legs. Nice little fireplace. Basically, it's the graded floor panels. I think this is one of the rusty fences, and then a couple of Dominion fence posts. This is the one that has that little circular thing, and if you enlarge it big enough, you can actually pass through it. We've seen a lot of Dominion themed mansions and stuff using it as entranceways. Getting stuck. There's a little bedroom area for someone. Another little bedroom. Two pillows for the sofa chair, and then the bed is just layered up um, charming bars and then just filled with pillows. Let's see, there's another staircase here. The railings here, those are ladders. On the other side, we saw them using the decking railings. These are ladders. They work just as well. They're a little bit, you know, a little shoddier because everything's kind of crooked and stuff, but it looks nice. Here's another bedroom. And another bedroom. Okay, want to make sure we've gotten everything. Don't want to miss. I'm gonna say there should be like a downstairs. Maybe I'm just not seeing it, or they blocked it off and left it just the upper floors. Um, well, you've got a pretty big selection of prefab homes. Um, you know, if you go for the cozy size, obviously those are going to be smaller than the spacious ones. But again, this is uh, the Osun house, which comes as a signature reward, I think. Um, it's quite a quite a bit more space than I think most people are used to working with. I don't see any way of getting down below. Um, Probably for the standard homes, I would say the Exile Spacious is probably biggest. For above ground, if you don't mind it being underground, then the bunker house is probably the next fave, just because it's just one big giant room. And I've seen people get, you know, 2 to 3 floors into that one and still have it look roomy but not too crowded. Just depends on how you divide it up. Besides that is just to build your own house, a custom house. But the problem with that is typically some folks use so much of the materials with the structure of the house that it eats up their decor count. And so that leaves them very little to go to customizing their actual furnishings, like the cabinetries and the beds and the cabinets and the chairs and the benches and stuff like that. Oh, is it Cosmic Points Rewards? I knew it was one of those. And it's pretty far down, so you have to invest quite a bit. Well, my apologies if there's actually a downstairs to this thing, because I cannot find where that is, if it is anywhere. So I think usually it's somewhere towards the front, like it would be like right there, but I think they blocked it off in favor of just keeping everything to the one level or 2 levels. But which is fine. That's their choice. It's just a builder's decision. Excuse me. Pardon me. See, I can tell it's getting close to time to go because my throat's really scratching up. Oof. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. still, I wish I could figure out how to get up to the, the little houses up here. I'm trying to see if I can like just crawl up the side of the tree. It doesn't, it's just gonna have me slide right on down, isn't it? Hell, doodly hoo. I'm like so close but so far away. I just don't, it looks like they took a lot of effort to put some bits together and I just don't know how to get up there. Oops. Well, that was unsuccessful. No. So either it's not intended for you to get up there or it's, you know, just for looks or something, but it looks like little tree houses up there. But I have haven't the foggiest. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed both of these homes. Again, we do plan on doing some community tours in the future, but I'm kind of holding off for a while because one, I think it's going to be a little bit before folks really have that ironed out. I've seen a lot of communities already set up, but they're not complete by any means. I don't think I've come across a single one that's completely finished because either it's one built plot and all the others are empty and just waiting for ideas to string them together, or their individual plots already there but they're not joined properly because there's a lot of, you know, trying to get the seaming of it just right. So I'm hoping that we'll be starting with those to participate in the community showdown competition that Carbine is running. We'll start with those probably, and then from there we'll figure out some that you know obviously get put together at a later time. I don't think I'm supposed to be in there. Anyway, I hope you guys had fun. Obviously, these were two completely different kinds of concepts. You can see those little houses a little better. It's a shame I can't figure out how to get up there. Maybe that's something that'll give you guys incentive to come visit in person to see if you can figure it out. But definitely a lot of pieces. Again, even if you don't have a kind of a loppy or any theme, a lot of the way the paths are done, a lot of the structure, like for the chairs and the tables and things, those can be, you know, gleaned and used in other ways in other settings. Even the landscaping, how they incorporated not only the insta hills but the snowy hills to make different types of slopes and hills. The water, how they treated that, just to give the plot a little bit of an interesting contour. That's something you can take with you and apply elsewhere. I'm not saying to go at it piece by piece and make it an exact replica. Obviously, you don't want to do it that way, but to be inspired to give your flat ground some bumps here and there. I think this is a good example of a positive way of doing the landscaping without it being too overly done. Um, and feeling like it's forced. So this seems pretty natural in how they put it together, as opposed to the place that we were at before, where we were basically just in a building, and we never actually really saw the outside of the building. We were just on the interior, but it was nicely divided. It had distinct areas of use. I think that's a big problem when folks construct a custom building or home. they divide it up and then they don't know what to put in each room, and it's good to have a plan in mind. That's why I say some builders actually sketch out or list out the ideas that they want to incorporate ahead of time before they actually start building. Some people take months of prep before they actually get into it. Um, but yeah, good food for thought as far as the ideas that you want to run with. So that was Chef Noriak's Lop Run Shiny Hill Cafe. Um, I hope you guys had fun. Look forward to next week's, assuming we will be here. And again, as soon as we know who's participating in the showdown, I will start trying to see how to get into that for the community tours. And we'll go from there. It won't be that we're going to be just doing community tours from then on. I will still do individual tours as well, but the community ones might have to be a little bit more extensive because it's basically looking at 5 plots in total. Um, then again, I'll have to think about, maybe there's a community with like 2 out of the 5 that we've already actually seen. Do I skip those, or do I just kind of run through them quickly, or I don't know how this is going to work. So we'll see how it pans out. But in the meantime, good luck with whatever you're working on. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.